Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Closing Comments here on September 16th. Let's jump right into these charts and see what happened in the markets today. We do have our December live cattle on the board to start us off. Pretty quiet day here in the live cattle market. Prices hanging steady inside that prior day's range. We did see a pullback down here near the 234 mark, finding support right around the midline of that prior day's range, which is a good spot to be picking up some extra buyers. We did see this market move up off those lows and finish the day right there at 235.20, hanging out right on top of that 20-day moving average, which is a good sign for the bulls. We did give up that bull pivot here at 235.75 today, but no real serious directional moves here, and just looking like we're finding a little bit more support and slow playing this thing before we start to move out of here. At the moment, looks like we are still seeing higher lows and good supportive action here by the bulls, pushing this market up and putting pressure up on this bull pivot up here to this 236 and a half area. Bulls want to keep pushing this market higher. They need to get some bids above that bull pivot and clear that 236 and a half high from yesterday to really get this ball rolling higher. But at the moment, the big picture uptrend still remains intact. We did have a nice little dip here over the last couple weeks, and looking like the bulls are doing a good job of supporting this thing. So at the moment, hang in there, stay strong, and looking like this cattle market should be rallying here. Just need to get a little bit extra push here, and a nice little boost above that prior day's high should get this market heading back up there towards those all-time highs. Weakness was definitely up here in some of these early front months, December and October being the weakest, and these early spring and summer 2026 contract months all showing pretty good action today. Pretty minor pullbacks and finishing the day just slightly down, but pretty solid effort out here in some of these back months. So looking like over the long haul, we are still seeing some good supportive action, and we should see these prices continue to rise. October feeders, pretty similar story here. We did have a brief breakout above that 355 level, pushing all the way up into a new high up there at 356.12, a new weekly high that is, and hanging out here, finishing right at the same spot we closed yesterday at 354.67, just right here at this bull pivot and above that 20-day moving average. Good supportive action, bulls stepping in and supporting this market here at that 20-day average. Looking like we're showing good signs of accumulation over the last few days here. Bulls just need to get this momentum rolling here, and another bid and more bids above 356. We should see this thing start to push up into the 360s towards 370 and potentially new all-time highs. But good accumulation here we've seen over the last few days. Bulls are definitely hanging in there and providing lots of buying activity here over the last few days. So look for this uptrend to keep on rolling here. Just need to get this thing turned around, and we should see this market start to move back towards those all-time highs in the near term here. So look for this cattle market to keep on pushing higher. Just need to chew through a little bit of this leftover demand here from this big breakdown day we saw last Tuesday. So just taking a little time to chew through some of that leftover supply, but at the moment everything's looking good and healthy still, and looking like this is going to be a pretty good opportunity to buy this dip and see these prices head higher here as we go into the fall. December corn futures pushing back today, recovering all of yesterday's losses and briefly getting a poke above that 430 level. Not quite filling that gap, but definitely pushing up into it. Bulls did finish the day back down here below this bull pivot, but at the moment we do have pretty nice momentum from today's action. The bulls will want to carry this into tomorrow and get that gap closed, and above that gap close, we should see this market start to push up here towards the 435 to 440 mark. This uptrend reversal is looking like it's taking shape here at the moment. Bulls continue to fight here as we're pushing up on this 430 level. We just need to make sure we can clear and close above that bull pivot there at 430 and close that gap as well. And once we are above that, we should be pretty smooth selling for the bulls as they look to get a new uptrend rolling here in this corn market. Over to the crude oil market now. We did have some nice upside here. Pretty quiet in terms of range. Still not a very impressive range. Only about $1.87 on the day, but a nice strong push above that prior week's high, above that 64 bull pivot, and a close above that 50-day moving average. At the moment, no real uptrends expected to come from here. This market's just kind of been pretty choppy and rangy. We have seen oil prices being pretty comfortable here in the low to mid 60s over the last few weeks, and even over the last few months, we just can't really seem to go anywhere outside of the $60 to $70 range. So not a whole lot of major upside expected here at the moment. We did have a brief poke above the 50 that was quickly rejected. over the last couple of weeks. So we'll have to wait and see if we're going to see a similar plan play out here in this oil market. But as long as we're trading above 64, look for this market to have a nice slow drift higher. Most likely situation here with this really low volatility market that's enjoying this trade here in the low 60s, low to mid 60s, is seeing this market continue to trade range bound here between 66 and 61 until we can get a break outside. If the bulls are able to close this thing above 66 and this prior high, we could see some more upside pushing up towards the $70 mark, but that is kind of unlikely here as we still have lots of headwinds pushing this market down and just kind of keeping this thing steady, if not pushing it lower. So don't not really expecting any major directional moves here in this oil market. Just look for continued low volatility chop here in the near term as we are getting ready to move over into this December contract by the end of the week. Equity markets hanging steady. We did have a brief rally attempt up there up towards that 6,700 mark, but falling just short of that. Opening range breaking down today and pushing that back. And this market just building up a whole lot of volume here. If we look here on our intraday charts in this volume profile, we do have a fairly large concentration of volume here with shelf kind of looking down here below 66, 65. If this market trades down here, looks like we're doing that so far here this evening session. We could see this market start to flush lower back down towards this prior week's point of control around the 66.45 mark. Look for that trade to take place overnight here. We do have a FOMC meeting tomorrow and Fed rate decision coming out, so that will be a big hot button topic for this market to be watching as we head into tomorrow. This market has had a pretty nice little rally over the last couple of weeks and has pushed up here into some extended territory. Nice little rejection up there near the highs, and with this shooting star candle up here looking like we could be feeling a little bit heavy. Rate cuts are anticipated for tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see what the Fed comes out and says, but that is kind of the anticipation here at the moment. Last time we had a Fed cut was back here in December 18th. And the market, soft Fed is definitely a nice sign for equities and should lead to higher prices. But the last time we had a Fed cut was back here on the 18th of December, which this market really rejected hard and then led into this kind of range-bound market before the big breakdown due to the Liberation Day and tariff situation back here at the beginning of the year. Just a quick note about that with this Fed cut not having a great reaction on that day. Just something to be mindful of as we've had a pretty extended run up here and we're kind of getting a little heavy up here at the moment right around the 6,700 mark. Not saying this market's going to turn around and go through this again, but we could see some volatility come from here, and we'll just have to wait and see how the market responds to any potential moves by the Fed tomorrow. But in the meantime, big picture uptrend still remains intact. Even if we do get a sell-off to come from here, it should lead to some pretty good dip buying opportunities and should see this market continue higher into the fall and into the year. So be cautious. No need to really get involved and gamble around the Fed decision tomorrow. If you've enjoyed a nice ride up here over the last few months, no problem. There's no problem with tightening up some of those stops and making sure that you've locked in some gains here, just in case we do have some volatility come into this market. But at the moment, big picture uptrend still rolling. Any dips from here we'd expect to see bought up. But in the meantime, just be ready for that volatility and just hang tight tomorrow while we sort through whatever tomorrow's Fed day has to bring. So that's all we got for this evening. Everyone have a good night.